Praise be, disciples. It's me, your Lord and Savior, Jesus. I know it's a little early, about 10 minutes early. I wasn't planning on starting early, but I just got an alert that there's, I guess, an active shooter at YouTube headquarters. So, I thought, well, you know what? This is, I'm sure this is going to come up on stream anyways. Let's just address it right now. Give me a moment while I try to figure out where this is coming from here. This second source of audio. Give me a moment while I try to figure out where this is coming from. It seems to be coming from second source of audio. That one. Come on down. Oh, woes of having a... There we go. I think that did it. Still there. Okay, hopefully that did it. All right, so sorry guys. Do we have an update on what's happening right now at YouTube? All right, let's see. Let's see if any of my disciples are chiming in here. 3 people are in the hospital, 4 more being transported, 4 shot, and I believe the shooter is dead. Okay. One critical, okay, 1 fair, 1 normal, okay. It didn't, nobody's dead. Did anybody die? I mean, I hate to ask that, but I mean, oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. This is going to be a bummer of a stream. But we need to talk. I know I always try to do my best to make sure that my streams are always positive and that everyone always has a safe place to come to, and no matter what kind of day that they've had, you know, they can come and always be uplifted here, and they can have a good time with all the rest of you guys. Today's going to be a little bit different, and I apologize for that, and I'm probably going to offend some of you today. And I hope I don't. It's not my aim to hurt anybody's feelings. But we need to talk about guns. This is a little too close to home, guys. This is our family. This is our community. I mean, not to marginalize anybody else's tragedies or any other communities out there, but guys, I will do my best to turn this stream around and make it positive in the end. I promise. Right now, I just got to get the feels out because my heart goes out to the victims out there. I'm so sorry. It's terrible that happened. I wish I could take that pain away from you right now. All right, guys. I mean, this is a double whammy for me. And this is our family. Oh man. I hope I guess the situation's under control at YouTube, which is good. It looks like for those that are just joining in, if you're wondering what's going on, there was a shooting at YouTube headquarters, and we're still waiting for the dust to settle and figure out exactly what happened to get all the details. But there were injuries and there were fatalities, I guess, at least one. But I'm not sure. I don't know all the details yet. But I was scheduled to start streaming in 3 minutes. And I hopped on Twitter like right before my stream, like I usually do, and I saw that there was an active shooter situation going on, and I thought, well, this is gonna come up today anyways on stream, so let's just go ahead and start now. I started a little early, so we're still trying to figure out what's going on right now. So I quickly changed my stream title. I won't be playing games today. And I won't be doing outside IRL today. I was planning on doing it, but unfortunately, have been receiving personal threats against me, threats of violence, and there's a YouTube channel out there called A Call to an Uprising that is inciting his followers to quote, do what he would do. Go ahead and do what he would do. And so I'm getting people trying to dox me, trying to put my personal information out online and stuff. And today I had a schedule to go outside and do an IRL, but I got a particular threat and a message that decided for my own safety I would not be going outside. I'll be staying inside, and then and then this Twitter thing, and then I get this Twitter message, and then I find out that there's an active shooter at YouTube headquarters, and decided, well, you know what, we're gonna talk about guns. So here we are. Sorry if Let me see if I can get my chat. I'm not seeing all of my chat messages at this moment. I do apologize to you guys. I am multicasting, and so I can't see all my messages right now, but I'll do my best to try to look at some of your messages and see if I can respond to some of you guys. But it's a sad day right now. So I might get a little emotional. I may be the son of God, but I'm just like you guys. I put my tunic on one leg on at a time, and I too get emotional. I too get the feels, and it breaks my heart to just see this kind of thing happen. And I don't want to sit here and just blubber on stream this whole time, so I'm going to try and turn this around. But I'm just trying to get my emotions out right now, so that I can think straight. I love you too, guys, by the way. Thank you for the love and support. Thank you. And please, guys, I do not bother or harass, or don't even comment. Please don't even leave comments on any of this guy's videos on his channel or anything. Please, okay? It's not going to help. It's not going to fix the situation. I've been in contact with YouTube. Of course, they've got their hands full right now. So, I'm not going to expect them to handle the situation right now. So, I feel bad if anybody's like bugging YouTube right now to like take care of any situation right now. I think we just need to give everybody at YouTube a break for a little while. Myself included. I don't even want to bother them with any more of these threats or
we have to accept it. I know it's hard, but my heart goes out to you and all those victims and families.
Thanks,
I
Nigel.
am sad as well.
Thanks, Nigel. I appreciate that, man. Damn it. Damn it to hell, you know? I'll turn this around. Don't hang in there. Hang in there with me, guys. I'll be fine. Just give me a moment. Thank you for the updates, disciples. I've got some people feeding me breaking news right now. It's hard for me to think right now because I'm just thinking about these. I'm just thinking about everybody at YouTube right now and what they must be going through. And I want to know what happened, and I'm eager to find out what's going on myself. So I'll try to give you guys some of the details that I get, some of the facts that I'm getting as I'm getting them. Thanks, Mark. I love you, man. You know, I this isn't the first time. Sorry. I know you guys are like, oh no, Jesus getting emotional. Oh, the sad thing is this isn't the first time. I was streaming when the Parkland news broke. And of course, I had to stop what I was doing. I think I was playing a game at the time and just address it for the next few hours and talk about it. So this isn't new. My Twitch followers and my Mixer followers, those guys know. The ones that watch me stream. If you don't know, I actually stream 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, on my gaming channel and on Twitch. I'm sorry, hold on, excuse me. Got some holy snot to take care of. Did I get it all? So we've been through this. Those that are my disciples that come and watch me stream, they were there with me on, was it February 13th or February 14th? I think it was February 14th or 13th. Was it the 13th or the 14th? Whatever day it was. You can go back on my channel and right, is it there? Jesus Plays. And I cried for half of that stream too. There was even, I had somebody, one of my disciples was literally blocks away from it and came into stream and was talking to me, and that was a rough day. That was a really rough day. And today's going to be one of those days, except for it happened like 10 minutes right before the stream started. So yeah, so we got off to a rough start. But we got to talk about guns, guys. And maybe I think it would be a good idea to maybe even have bring on Discord on some of my disciples that live abroad, particularly in places like, I would love to talk specifically to any of my Australian disciples. And the reason why I bring up Australia, everybody, is not too long ago, and most everybody that's watching right now, in your lifetime, there was a mass shooting in Australia. And afterwards, there was massive gun reform. I mean, the guns, they took up basically all the guns were taken away. It wasn't just like, let's just ban bump stocks, or let's just ban high magazine clips. Australia did it right. They just took it away, because I don't think the solution to this problem is ever going to be anything other than taking the guns away. For school shootings, making backpacks clear, come on, please. Or let's put a bucket of rocks next to the door, so that if there's a school shooting and the kids can stone the shooter. Or the worst one, the worst idea I think I've heard yet is let's have teachers have guns and well, that'll fix it. And all of those solutions, just sell more guns and just get more guns out there, and just, everything else, every argument against gun control, mental health. Well, yes, we do have a mental health problem. Yes, we do need to improve it. But just that's Band-Aids for bullet wounds, okay? I mean, the United States is far behind in mental health in general. I mean, they need to take a page out of the EU's book, out of the, particularly the Scandinavian countries. We're getting off topic. Let's get back to the guns. It's not a mental health issue. What are the other ones? We're gonna read the Second Amendment. Let's go. We're gonna actually go through every word of the Second Amendment together on stream, and I'm pretty sure by the time we're done, I think you'll all agree that it it has some problems, and that's not saying like America has a problem or anything like that. It's just that we have amendments for a reason. You just make another amendment. It's just, yeah. I mean, a couple things right off the top of my head. I mean, it's just, I mean, we're gonna do this actually. Let's do this. Let's pull up the Second Amendment right now. All right, here it is. Okay, this is really good. All right, so what I'm pulling from is just Wikipedia. I'm just gonna read a little bit off of Wikipedia. So consider this part of the stream Jesus ASMR reading the Second Amendment. Okay, so if you want to screen record this, do it. You know what? I need to turn off my alerts and stuff. Let me turn off that and that too. There we go. I don't want interruptions. Go ahead and screen record this, guys, and do with what you want with it. You have my permission to re-edit this or do whatever you want. Get it out there. Do your own thing. Jesus reads the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. All right. But before I do that, actually, let me read the little beginning part of it. I think this is good part. This is good information to have. It says there are several versions of the text of the Second Amendment, each with capitalization or punctuation differences. Differences exist between the drafted and ratified copies, the signed copies on display, and various published transcriptions. The importance, or lack thereof, of these differences has been the source of debate regarding the meaning and interpretation of the amendment, particularly regarding the importance of the prefatory clause. One verse was passed by Congress, and a slightly different version was ratified. As passed by Congress and preserved in the National Archives, with the rest of the original handwritten copy of the Bill of Rights prepared by scribe William Lambert. The amendment says, a well-regulated militia. Oh, and this is it. I'm starting it. Here it is, the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's it. It's very short. I'm going to read it again for you. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay. Now, let's go over this. 1788. 1788. Let's go back in time to 1778. 1778. They had muskets, okay? And if you guys know what a musket is, it's a long rifle that you load it through the muzzle. You put the powder in, you pack the powder with a rod, and then you put some wadding in there, and pack it some more, and you put the actual lead ball in there, and pack that down, and then you shoot it with flintlock. Like it's really old school. It's like a little cannon, literally like an old school cannon. Okay, and these things took over a minute to load, and then fire, load, fire, load, fire, about a minute. Okay. At this time, when they had a militia, a well-regulated militia, like they did in that time, never did they dream that a militia would have guns that can shoot hundreds of rounds per second. Rounds that are, armor piercing and break into different pieces and specifically are meant to kill. They didn't foresee that. They didn't foresee those types of things. That just was not in their comprehension. So you say, well, here we are. We do have these high rate guns, these guns that shoot really fast and shoot, 50 rounds a minute or something like that, or more. Well, we can't take them away now. What do we do? Well, the whole idea of having a militia to keep the government in check only works is if the militia is up to par with the government, and the thing is the idea of okay, so let me break it down like this way. I don't think it's necessary for anybody to have an assault rifle or an automatic gun or anything like that. In fact, I don't think it's necessary for anybody, besides a farmer or a hunter, maybe, to have a gun. And the only reason to have a gun, it seems to be, is to protect yourselves from somebody else that has another gun. And there's a problem right there. It's an easy way to sell more guns that way. But that's why I want to talk to somebody, one of my disciples that lived in Australia, and see what was it like having all their guns taken away, and what was it like afterwards. Because I think the big push right now with the NRA is that their argument is that it's taking away your freedom. And maybe it won't stop there. It won't stop at just, taking away your guns. But here's the thing. I don't care how well-regulated the militia could ever be. You don't have Apache helicopters. You don't have Abrams tanks. You don't have drones. You don't have you don't stand a chance. The United States military has a budget that is more than the next 5 countries' militaries put together. Do you think you and your buddies with some AR-15s are gonna do anything against a tyrannical government or something like that? Come on, please, really. And nobody's crying about not having the right to own an Apache helicopter or a Harrier jet or whatever. So the line's already been drawn, okay? It's drawn in the wrong place. That line is drawn at assault rifles, which is weird. The things that the soldiers use to go to war to kill other people. That doesn't make any sense. I understand if we still had muskets, or the right to bear arms, because sure, you got to defend yourself or you got to hunt or whatever, but I really don't think you need a gun to defend yourself. I think you're more likely, the statistics show that if you have a gun in your house, you're more likely to be killed by a gun. That's just how it is. Whether it's, do we even need to go into that? But it's just crazy. I don't get it. I know it's a political thing. It's a unfortunately, it shouldn't be a political thing, but it is. There's a lot of special interests involved. What's up with the title? Asks Ave in. Well, I'm sorry you're just joining in, but we're talking about guns. There was a shooting today at YouTube headquarters right at the beginning, right when I was about to start streaming. I stream every day. I don't normally stream to my main channel on YouTube. I just stream to my gaming channels and on YouTube and Twitter. But today I'm streaming to all of my channels because I knew today the only thing I was going to want to talk about was this gun problem. And I say gun problem because the United States has a gun problem that needs to be fixed. And it can't be fixed with just, I don't feel that the fix is going to be just tighter gun control or more restricted gun control. I think that the United States needs to follow the examples of other developed nations that have proven that, yes, you can actually take the guns away and everything will go on just fine. The world will move on. The apocalypse isn't going to begin just because we take guns away. There isn't going to be masked mayhem. Like masked mayhem. I said masked mayhem. Sorry, masked, if you're in here. That's one of my moderators. Mass mayhem. Or anything like that. Our country doesn't follow other countries. Actually, you're wrong. The United States is not in the lead when it comes to a lot of things like education, or even technology now. The United States is sadly not spearheading the globe with STEM anymore. Yeah, Bizarre is the new black says, I'm from the UK. There are like no shootings ever because we don't have guns. That's right. Anytime there's a shooting, the argument will always be it's something else. It's a mental health problem, or gun restrictions aren't just good enough. But no, the problem is a gun problem. So the United States needs to do what other great countries have done, like the great country of Australia has done, I think most recently, Japan, the UK, where there is just a ban on guns. And maybe it doesn't have to be a complete ban like in Australia and the UK. There are exceptions for farmers, ranchers, and those whose livelihoods do depend on having a rifle per se. That's fine. That's understandable. But I can't accept an argument that there's any need for assault rifles, period, or even automatic anything, or even guns at all. I mean, take them all. I mean, if they can do it in Japan, why can't they do it in the United States? Well, because the Second Amendment. Right. Let's go back to the Second Amendment again. Let's do that. Second Amendment, which reads, it's real short, so let's do it. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Made sense then. They didn't want a repeat of history, right? They didn't want the government to basically, be like a tyrannical government, totalitarian government, or something like that. So they wanted to be able to defend themselves against their own government. Makes sense. But that time is long gone. That time is long, long, long gone now. It's like not going to happen now. Even with, if they keep gun control how it is now and say, okay, fine, keep your assault rifles, does you no good. Does you no good. It's not going to do you any good. When the government has Apaches and tanks and all that good stuff, drones, they push buttons now, man. They push buttons. So it doesn't make any sense. Especially, it doesn't make any sense for somebody who can't even buy cigarettes or alcohol could go and buy an assault rifle. That blows my holy mind. Like, what the hell? No, you can't buy cigarettes till you're 21 because they kill you. No, you can't buy alcohol till you're 21 because, well, it could kill you. It could be, you're not responsible enough to drink. You might get behind the wheel. Oh, but hey, here's an assault rifle. It is designed to kill as many people as fast as quickly as you can. That's its primary function. Yet you can get that before you're old enough to buy alcohol or cigarettes or whatever. That just blows my mind. There is a problem. There's a problem. Yes, there's a mental issue. There's a mental problem as well. As we know today, this person was not right. Every person that does violence to another human being on any level is dealing with a degree of mental illness there. It's not normal, and it's not natural to want to do that. That's just not right. That's taught. That's a learned thing. Hey, Mast is here. Oh, good. Hey, Mast. We're going to use the Discord. I'd like to bring on a disciple or two from Australia, or I'll talk to you too. You're in the UK, and we could chat about this. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Keep in mind, this is written in a time when muskets were what they had. A musket is something that fires about 1 round a minute. But now you can go, before you're old enough to buy cigarettes and alcohol in this country, sadly, you can buy a weapon that can fire, I think, like, what does an AR-15 shoot? A full, I don't know, too many. It's like way too many. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, they are, man. They are freaked up, man. We can have, Washi Bander has a good point. We can have a state that isn't free very quickly. Oh, dang it, I just lost it. We can have a state that isn't free very quickly when we lose our freedom to defend ourselves. I think that's a very good point. that you make, Washi Banjo. But here's okay. Where do you draw the line on defending yourself against the state? Okay, when the state has guns that you can't get, right? So there's already been a line there. And I know the fear is that, well, if we keep drawing that line further back, we're risking more and more. But I think that's a logical fallacy that a lot of people have when they feel like something is being taken away, or that outright is that argument. Let's put it this way. I think the biggest argument against gay marriage was that, well, if you let homosexuals get married, well, then what's going to happen next? So, first of all, society is going to crumble, and also then it's just going to be a terrible backslide in morality, and then now people are going to marry their animals and things like that, or whatever. And it hasn't happened, and it's not a thing that's really a thing, or a thing that's going to happen. It certainly. I get your desire to feel safe against your own government, but you're not safe against your own government now. Okay, we pretty much have to trust them now. I mean, if you haven't been doing it now, I mean, what kind of life have you been living up to this point? If you don't have the full trust in the United States government to protect you, or at least enough trust to, to want to move somewhere else. Like if you don't feel safe enough here, let me put it this way. I don't know anybody. I've never heard of anybody, and if anybody is this, by all means, speak up. I'd like to talk to you. Maybe is in a position where they're like, I don't feel safe enough in the United States. I would rather move to a different country. Perhaps, maybe. I think I did meet somebody once that had a desire to move to Canada. But a lot of people said they wanted to move to Canada when Trump was elected president or whatever. But did anybody actually go through with it? I don't know. Is that a real thing? Do people actually immigrate out of the United States because they don't feel safe? Maybe they do. And I'm just naive. But I think the government's already on top and has the upper hand. What does Washi say? There may come a time when everyone wishes to go against the government, like in North Korea, but are simply unable to because the government has disarmed and starved them. Okay, good point. This is a good point. But I think we might be past that point anyways. Right? We've seen countries like the UK, Japan, and Australia, they're all these are leading countries here, do it successfully without crazy things happening. Now, it's not to say that any government or their government can't turn on them, and that could happen. Sure, that could happen. It could happen like North Korea, but I don't think. Let's say the North Koreans had guns. Let's just say hypothetically. I'm pretty sure they'd be in the exact same position that they would be in now. It wouldn't have stopped them. Nothing would have happened. Because again, if we were to try to rise up against our own government, they've got drones. They've got attack helicopters. They've got tanks. That fight's over already. That fight's done. So I think it's just now a problem because there's been this idea for so long and it's been kept for so long that it's now at this point where there's special interests like all these gun companies that, whole industries depend on the sale of guns. I mean, I just don't think it's. I don't know, man. I need some holy water, is what I need. I'm parched. Hold on, I'll be right back. Here we are. Hi. Look who joined the stream. This is Judas. Hi, Judas. Say hello. Give me a holy high five. Holy high five, Judas. Come on, put it up there. Holy high five. Oh, am I too far away? There we go. Holy high five. That was a sad high five. Come on, you could do it better. Are you sad too? I brought you in here to cheer me up. You're supposed to cheer me up. Why are you looking sad? High five. Do you want a treat? Do you want a treat? High five. I'll get you an apple piece. Come on. You're making me look bad on stream. Here, let's bring it this way. All right. This is my best friend, Judas. Say hello, Judas. There he goes. Oh, there's a big yawn. Yeah. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Yes, you are. You would never betray me. You would never betray me. This is my literal best friend. Huh. We do everything together, pal. Hey, the Gaming Unicorn. Hey, man, thanks for your donation to the collection plate there. Praise be. Aww. Good boy. So, guys, if you're just joining in, my voice is a little hoarse, mouth is a little dry because I've been talking my disciples' I've been in my disciples' ears about gun control. That's right. I think that it's time for gun control in the United States. I think so. Don't you think so, Judas? Don't you think so? We think so. And we've been talking about it here on stream, reading some of your guys' comments. My doggo is 5. How old are you, Judas? Show me your paw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Good boy. Elite, that's actually why we're here and why we're talking. Yes, there was a shooting. It's over now. And it happened right at the beginning of my scheduled stream today. For those who don't know, I stream 5 days a week, 4 hours a day, on that channel right there, Jesus Plays, and over at twitch.tv and Mixer. Judas. And Judas hangs out with me. and we play games and stuff, and it's blessed. But today's a different day. Today's kind of a bummer of a day because right as I was sitting down to start stream, right as I was starting the stream, I actually got a message, like from someone I know that asked me if I was okay because they were worried about me being shot. And that got me worried. Because if you didn't know, and this is just the craziest thing too, guys, I have to talk about this too. I'm sorry I have to talk about this, but I've recently been receiving personal threats against me because of a channel called A Call to an Uprising. And let me preface this by saying, don't go to their channel and leave them comments. Don't respond to hate with hate. Don't do that, please. Do not do that. They are not being Christ-like, and they are not listening to anything I said about loving thy neighbor and thy enemy. And this channel called The Call to an Uprising has made a video about me. I made a video about it. It's the last video. You guys can go check it out. It's on my channel. It's easy to find. It's just called Jesus Gets Threats from a YouTuber. And in this video, he just hates on me a whole bunch, which is whatever, no big deal, right? But there's two, and look, I've had haters for thousands of years, right? It's nothing new. I've been called a blasphemer back then. I'm called a blasphemer now. Whatever. This guy, though, he's mad. He calls me a hypocrite. Yet he can't listen to what I said about loving thy neighbor and not being... Anyways, he basically made some thinly veiled physical threat and then just kind of later encouraged his followers to do what he would do in the same video. And since then, I've been getting lots of messages. And the disturbing part is it's not just messages on YouTube, but it's messages everywhere, like emails and they're bothering me at my place, like where my livelihood now, is like, I think they're mass flagging all my videos, and like trying to get my channel taken down. And I should mention that this channel has already been previously terminated by YouTube for bullying and for harassing. But here they are, they're doing it again. This time, I know I'm not the only victim here. I know I'm not the only channel. I think there's been a few other channels that have been at the receiving end of some harassment from this guy. He mentioned something about like a bagel town or Bagelville or something like that. It was, anyways. And now they're getting out of hand. And today I was scheduled to go do an IRL stream, and I got a threat that really worried me. And I decided it's not safe for me even to go outside. And then somebody messaged me and asked me if I was okay, because YouTube was getting shut up, and here we are. Thanks, Dorian. No, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Oh, thank you. I love you, and I appreciate that. Dorian, by the way, that's all going to, thank you for your donation. I appreciate it, but I really don't need your donation. If you don't know, all that super chat money goes to charity already. 100% of it goes to a wonderful cause called Aussie Rescue SoCal. Judas, come here, Judas. If you didn't know, Judas is an Australian Shepherd and my best friend. And this amazing charity services a huge geographical area of Southern California, which is massive. Think of one lady, basically, one person and a few volunteers trying to service like all of the UK. Okay, it's just not a thing. But she does this. She's superhuman, and she rescues Australian shepherds like Judas that are going to be euthanized because the shelters either can't pay for their medication, or they're suffering, and they can't do the surgery or anything like that. And so this wonderful organization saves them, and so I'm very happy to give them all of my money that I get from YouTube. So 100% of it goes to them. I have my AdSense account actually go straight to their bank account, and it just goes straight to them. So I appreciate that. Thank you. But you're helping my best friend, actually, when you're donating. And when I say my best friend, I mean man's best friend. Okay. Love you. So thank you. Thank you for your donations. I really appreciate it. They really do go to a good cause. Don't go. Yes. Love you. So yes, you guys can check them out. Their webpage here. I have a video link. Let me see, where is it? Judas and YouTube. Let's see here. Twitch. There's my Judas link. Judas. Here, I can copy and paste it for everybody. I have a video that I made here, and here's the link to their website. Come on, copy and paste the whole thing. Come on, control. Oh. Copy paste. I can't copy paste my own comments. I could if I go over here, huh? Yeah, there we go. Meet Judas. Here we go. And I'll put it in here. Here you go. Here, guys, here's a link, a video that I made about Judas. And there's also a link there for Aussie Rescue SoCal. That's the charity that I support with my channel. With 100% of the revenue of this channel goes to them. So check them out. They're awesome. I will eventually make a video about them. The problem is they're located like almost 2 hours away from me. I've never actually been there or anything. But I've talked on the phone with the lady who runs it a couple of times. I haven't met her in person yet, but she is a saint. I can tell you that. She's an amazing woman who does amazing work. And thank you, Dorian. See, Dorian just put in £5 into the collection plate, just specifically for that charity. Thank you, Dorian. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I eventually want to go out there and make like a fun video, like show you guys, give you guys an inside view of what they do over there. But I just haven't got around to doing that yet. They're all the way out in Paris, California, which is a bit of a drive from here. Okay. Yes. Who's a good boy? Can I have a holy high five now? Yeah. Now he's in a good mood. See? We can make this stream more positive. Of course we can. We can make everything better with doggos. Everything is better with doggos and puppers, huh? Yeah. Blep. Blep. He does bleps. So I do snoots on the boops on the boops on the snoot. There we go. All right. What was that? Oh, you got an itch? Got an itch? Did you get it? You good now? Okay. He is. He's the freaking best. Oh, hey guys, he has an Instagram. Yeah, it's Judas the Aussie at Instagram.com. Totally go check him out. Let's see here. What's his Instagram? Judas. What's her Instagram? It's Judas the Aussie, right? It's http://www. Instagram.com/Judas the Aussie. Bam. Follow my doggo. He's much more active on Instagram than I am. And the last post we did was him catching a bunch of frisbees. It was really good. He's a frisbee catcher. He runs, it catches up in the air, and then lands like running, still running, like, and then comes back. Super fast. Huh. You're the best, huh? High five. Oh, you almost slipped. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. All right, here, you could put it right there now. It's fine. So yes, definitely follow my best. Oh, you're good, dude. Follow my best friend here on Instagrams. Judas, did I write that right? Judas the Aussie. I did. Okay, good. Praise be. Oh, Dorian, you didn't have to give me your last 2 pounds. That too kind of you, dude. My dude, thank you so much. Judas says thank you, right? Says thank you, Dorian. Yes, you just helped out his cousins. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Huh? Yay! Thanks, Dorian. Hip hip hooray! All right. Yes, we know, Mr. Coke. That's why we're here. That's why we're talking. Yep. Yeah, Ragnarok, Instagram. I just put it out there, actually. I'll put it out one more time. There you go. Judas the Aussie. So thanks, guys, for joining in right now. It's different. It's a different type of stream today. For a couple of different reasons. I won't go into the whole long story because I know a lot of you have been hanging around for a long time. I really appreciate that, but I'll try to bring everybody up to speed on what has happened and what's going on. Should I just start from the very beginning? Because 2 things happened, and it's crazy. It's a double whammy, one on top of the other. So, in short, I was scheduled to stream today, as I normally do, Monday through Friday on my gaming channels. But today I received a threat. Well, let me back up. I've been receiving lots of threats recently. This is your Lord and Savior speaking. Jesus. That's a donation thing. Sorry, guys. I thought I turned that off.
I'd love to keep watching you, but my eyes are giving up that I might pass out. Love you, Jesus and Judas. Hope you guys have a great time.
Thank you. Whoever that was, I'm sorry. I turned off my alerts because I didn't feel good about like taking donations while this is going on or anything like that. So that's why you didn't see it, but you still heard it. I thought you wouldn't be able to hear it either, but so I don't know who that was, but thank you. I appreciate that. Let me make sure that's off. I think it's off now. No, it shouldn't it shouldn't do that anymore. Okay, so there's a channel, and before I even there's a channel that's, I'm not going to say what their name is. You don't even know what their name is. That is, it doesn't seem to be a very good channel to begin with. I've looked at their videos, and it doesn't seem like they're doing a lot of like net positive for the community that is YouTube. It's a quote unquote truther channel. I think he calls himself a truther, and I think in the about section of his channel even says, my channel was terminated because I had too much truth. They couldn't handle the too much truth that I was giving out or whatever. And some spelling errors there too, but it was pretty clear that he got terminated. His channel's been terminated for harassing others because in a video that he made about me, he first makes kind of a veiled threat, like, oh, this guy wouldn't last 7 seconds if I saw him, and I, he like holds back or whatever, and then talks about me some more and throws some more shade on me, and throws shade on the LGBT community, throws shade on anybody who likes Star Wars, or it throws shade on Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah, and I mean, this guy like it just seems to be angry at everybody, but particularly me. And so then he continues to encourage, suggesting to his audience that they should go do what he would do. And here we are. And now I'm getting physical threats. And I got people trying to dox me. I've got people they're putting out the false information there, which has got me worried, because some poor schmuck is going to get swatted who they think is me, but it's not me. They have wrong person's information, but they're saying, oh, we got you, and we have people up high and stuff like that, and we're gonna find you and shit like that, and it's ridiculous. And so I decided, well, I better keep my stream inside my own home, because I'm worried for my own safety today. And as I sit down to prepare for my stream, I get a message saying, a startling message. It's saying, like, are you okay? There's a shooting, YouTube, from somebody who doesn't quite understand the difference between YouTube Space and YouTube headquarters. But I jumped on Twitter and found out there was an active shooter at YouTube headquarters. It's now contained. I believe the shooter is dead. I think the shooter committed suicide. But there were many injuries, and I don't know what the casualties are or anything like that, besides the shooter themselves. And so I knew I wasn't going to be able to just get on stream and, shuck and jive with you guys and, be all like normal, that we were going to have to be a little more serious today, which I don't like to do. I don't want to do that. But things are just a little too serious right now, and things are just a little too close to home. So we're reeling things in a little bit and keeping things here on the DL where I feel safe for my own personal safety, and we can use this time to talk about guns, and you mortals can help me wrap my head around what the hell is going on around with guns in the United States. It's just weird. It's just crazy, and it's scary shit. I don't understand anybody's position where they feel that violence is going to fix or solve anything. And not just violence, but doing anything to try to, try to ruin a person's life or something, take away a person's livelihood, or take away a person's ability to live a full, happy, healthy life. I've certainly never, ever, ever, ever been an advocate for violence. And I know I get some shit for being the table flipper. Yeah, I know. I've flipped a table or two. I can get pissed. I've I know my disciples know I have a thing with money changers and figs and hypocrites. And there was that one time at the temple where shit got real. And I had to flip a few tables. But now I've got the nickname of Table Flipper. I'm never going to live that one down, but whatever. I'm mad. And right now I want to flip some tables. This really pisses me off. And I'm just, it makes me sad to see that this country can't follow in the footsteps of other developed nations like Australia, the UK, and Japan, who've all successfully implemented a ban on guns. Not a problem. And those governments don't have a military that overpowers them on the level that our government overpowers us now, even with assault rifles. We just don't stand a hope if we wanted to rise up against our governments if they suddenly were to become a totalitarian state or something like that. We just wouldn't stand a chance. We don't have drones. We don't have tanks. We don't have any of those things. So that's an illusion. That idea is an illusion right now. That's gone and done. Now the idea is just to have a gun to protect yourselves from other people that have guns. Well, let's solve that problem, okay? Let's just do what everybody else has done in the rest of the world successfully, without problems, and just take them. I don't know, guns are fun, and they're fun to shoot, and, there's that sense of security owning a gun, I'm sure. I'm sure there is. But you're more statistically likely to kill yourself or somebody else in your home, or somebody else is going to use that gun to kill themselves or something without your knowledge, than you are to actually successfully use it to prevent somebody from killing you. That's just the numbers. Those are the statistics. So I feel it's a false sense of security. It's a false sense of like I'm safe, because really you're putting in. Because the most of the gun deaths are suicides, and people don't really want to talk about that. But, there's an unnecessarily high amount of gun violence in the United States. It's way too high. It doesn't even need to be this high for it to be out of control. It's just out of control. It's out of control. And I think the discussion shouldn't really be about banning assault rifles or banning bump stocks or banning, this or that. It just needs to be, let's look what everybody else has done and let's do it like they do it. Okay. And we might have this idea in the United States that maybe the United States is the best country or something like that. Look, there's a team mentality that we all have. We all, no matter which country or which baseball, football, basketball team or whatever, your team's the best. Everybody's team's the best, right? Okay, but listen, the United States isn't the best when it comes to certain things. Gun violence is definitely one of those where they could improve a lot. But education is one. Even child mortality is sadly very, very low. The United States ranks low. Ranks very low, very, very low. But that doesn't make sense. So let's stop, let's do the thing. Let's just do the thing that everybody else has done. That's what I say. My opinion. But who am I to judge, Blazer Boss, yeah. USA has the best gun violence. You're right. The best. It's the best. In a very, very, I say that with a lot of sarcasm, guys. Um, yeah. It's crazy. It's nuts, guys. Back to gun control. Sophie Little says, I believe we also need to top of gun control need stronger school security because I'm at the point where I'm scared to be at school, wondering if I'm next. I agree with you, Sophie. We do need stronger security at schools, but we also need to take away the ability for people to just go in there and shoot up a school. And that ability is always going to be there as long as there is an ability for anybody to go and get the guns. And you can try to scale back that right, because you're playing a game here, and people are going to say, well, if you take away that right, what rights are they going to take away next, or whatever. But what you don't understand is you already don't have the right to own a bazooka. You don't have the right to own, a mini, a Gatling gun or anything like that, so that argument's, I don't think, a very good argument. Then the argument, I think, does become, well, then we need guns to protect ourselves from the other people who have guns. Okay, fair enough. Take away all the guns like the UK, Japan, and Australia has done. Sure, there's still going to be guns. Sure, there's still going to be a black market, but what's going to happen is the numbers will go down, and here's why. It's one thing to go and get it got off the black market, which sure, a black market's going to rise up. There's going to be a bigger black market, I'm sure, but it shouldn't be easier for somebody who's not old enough to buy alcohol and cigarettes to buy an assault rifle legally. It just blows my mind. Blows my holy brains out. Like, how is that a thing? How is that a thing? Who got... Well, I know the NRA lobbied. I know this is how it works, to where we got to this point where civilians can just own military weapons. And that's why we're talking about this. It's gotten there because of, I don't know, something didn't happen. Well, no, that's an incorrect statement, because a lot of things have happened. There have been a lot of reasons for there to be an action now, right? This is what saddens me, and this is why I'm here, and this is why I'm talking. Because there's been way too many mass shootings. Just far too many. One is too many, okay? One is too many, in my opinion. But it only took one big mass shooting in Australia for them to take a step back and go, wait a minute. Maybe we're looking at this the wrong way. Maybe we should have gun control. And they did it. And it worked. It's not perfect, Sure, there are people that still have guns, and they're still doing collections, where they'll buy guns back, and there's a gradual process. And I'm sure the United States can work something like that out as well. They can follow the models of other developed nations and figure out a way. I'm sure it doesn't have to be an immediate thing, like we're going to flip the switch, we're going to come to your door, knocking on your door, and come take your guns away that day. No, come on, really? But there's got to be something done about this. It's time. I'm done. I'm sick of the excuses now of, no, it's a mental health issue, or no, we just need to arm the teachers, or no, we just need to put a pail of river rocks next to the door. Well, let's talk about that one for a little bit here, for a second here. Here's the answer. The answer is the clear backpacks and buckets of river rocks in the classroom. That way, the school shootings can still happen, but we're just gonna make it way more traumatic, because some kid now is gonna have to kill another kid with a rock, to stop him killing from another kid. Like, you understand? It's band-aids with bullet wounds here with that. That's just absurd. It's just so absurd to me to think, let's go ahead and go back 2,000 years to the J-Man's time and use rocks. That's our answer to gun violence. Rocks. A bucket of rocks. Let's let a bunch of kids throw rocks at a kid. Hopefully they get the right kid, or the one that's, I don't know. I can't think of any scenario where that would actually work out in the end. It just doesn't seem good. It doesn't solve the problem. That a child, a person who's not even an adult, not old enough to buy alcohol and cigarettes, could buy a murder machine, an assault rifle. It just doesn't make sense. Armor trained teachers instead. That won't work. When you've got officers with bulletproof vests already on and a gun, and they don't want to go in there and face a shooter, I don't think a teacher's going to do it when push comes to shove or whatever. And plus, you've got a gun in a classroom that can be used by anybody, that can, that's not a good idea. There's a reason why prison guards don't have guns. There's a reason why if you're in a classroom with a bunch of kids or something and you get distracted, somebody gets your gun, a kid gets your gun, and then they start a mass shooting with your gun. Okay, well, we'll lock up the guns. Well, then is it going to help you during a school shooting? If you have to it becomes another problem. The answer is to just not have guns. Well, then the argument's going to be, well, then they'll use something besides guns. And you know what? Maybe they will. But look at the rest of the country. Look at the rest of the countries out there. When they enacted gun violence, or when they enacted gun laws and had gun control and stopped things, it wasn't like everything stayed the same. It's just everyone was taking pipe bombs. That doesn't work. That's not what happened. That's not what's going to happen. It immediately changes a lot of things. If there's just not access, somebody has access, to grab a gun and to go, you know what I mean? There's a lot more thought process going into trying to make some other thing to try to go and hurt people. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. I know, Judas. I feel the same way. Normally I wouldn't be, honestly, guys, I don't like prohibition, really. I don't think prohibition is something that works. Okay. Right. I don't think that we can just make guns go away. I don't think that we can ever make them just disappear or anything like that. I don't think so. But I think gun control is very possible, and I think that's something that we need to try to do as a nation in the United States, like other nations. Do I need to mention again? The UK, Japan, Australia. Australia most recently. And that was very recent. I can imagine how many. Well, actually, I can't imagine. I wonder. The math can be done. I mean, how many school shootings would have been prevented if the United States had enacted gun control when they did after the mass shooting in Queensland? Where was that in Australia? And do I have any Aussies in the house who want to give me some insight on what they feel? What was it like for anybody that was in Australia around that time? When, and how is it now? What's your take on it? What is it like? What do you think about the situation in the United States right now? Sorry, Dylan Brooks. Caps lock is it's like a bot thing. It's just to keep spam down and manage spam and stuff like that. It's nothing personal. Right. Yeah. All Aussies I've talked to don't mind it. Yeah. I mean, I haven't met an Australian that was like, oh, we hate it. All the countries who've never had guns that outnumber the people 3-1. Yeah. A child could find a gun, and if it fell into the wrong kid's hand, then what? Well, yeah. And I know there are too many tragic deaths every year from children getting guns and things like that. I know. And I understand, guys. Not everyone's going to agree with me on this. And everybody's free to their own opinion. I'd like to hear your guys' arguments for having guns or having assault rifles. I was talking to somebody earlier that was making some good, reasonable, good logical arguments for keeping the Second Amendment intact as is. I don't think that we need to get rid of the Second Amendment. I just think we need to make a new amendment. I think we just need gun control. I think there needs to be a ban on guns and a ban. Oh, here's Washi again. He says, maybe if we weren't the country that basically invented guns, we would have a chance at controlling them. Ooh, very good point, Washi Banjo. Very good point. It's very hard, I think, for Americans to realize what it's like being an American, because that's all they usually know. That's why I'm curious to know from some Australians and some other people out there. But you make a good point. I mean, the United States pretty much invented, well, I mean, China technically invented the gun, or gunpowder, but the United States made it an industry. Yes. And that's a thing. It's a whole entire industry that has lobbying power that is insane. It's crazy. And I don't know the numbers on it, but it's scary. The millions and millions of dollars that are going into the pockets of politicians to help the sale of guns, right? There's a very big industry here of guns. It's been around for a very long time. Here, drumstick eater says, JC, I get your point, but don't you think a lot of American problems like being able to have a gun is fixed if your democracy system was better? Think of it. I agree, drumstick eater. I completely agree. I think there are a few problems in our democracy. A few things I would love to see fixed in the United States is the two-party system to be broken. I think a lot of our problems can't be solved because it's such a split into a two-party system, and because of something called the Electoral College, and the way the votes are counted in the United States, makes it to where the popular vote or doesn't get counted. And well, in general, because it's broken down into, it gets really confusing, guys, but that needs to be fixed. There's a lot of problems that can happen there, problems of gerrymandering and issues where that system is flawed. But then the whole system in general isn't perfect. It isn't perfect. And I agree. It needs to be a self-correcting system. And it kind of is. That's why we have amendments, but they're just, things aren't getting done right. Something's caught in the cog, and I think it is because we've got a two-party system. A voting system is based on a two-party system, and it just, that's broken. What's wrong, Judas? You're upset too about the two-party system? Yes. And here's the problem to all my disciples. I know a lot of my disciples, some of you might be liberal, some of you might be conservative, some of you might be in the middle, but that's the thing. It's kind of like a spectrum, right? But however, there isn't so much of a spectrum on the political system itself. You're Republican or you're Democratic, right? Even though the terms conservative and liberal are used, and that's used on a gauge like, oh, it's either far right or far left, so that's where it becomes a spectrum. But when it comes to voting, it isn't, and that's a problem. The way the candidates are chosen and ultimately chosen and then put up against each other to vote is as an unfair system, and it needs to be completely changed. Well, not completely changed. It just needs to be ratified. It needs to be fixed. I agree. Noah McConnell says, what we need is less gun-free zones and more people with guns to protect our children. Well, here's the problem with that. I don't think a gun-free zone protects anybody. Just like a smoke-free zone does not actually prevent anybody from getting cancer. You know what I mean? It just prevents people from smoking in that area. So that, again, I think is a argument that doesn't really have a lot of weight behind it. The answer saying, well, if more people have guns, then there'll be less gun violence. I don't think that's a very good argument. I think that the data shows that the more guns that are out there, the more gun violence there is, or the more deaths by guns, whether it's self-inflicted or it's a homicide or something else, an accident. Those numbers go up, and they've gone up. They've gone up with the guns. So I don't think that argument really works. Tight gun control in California is working pretty well, says Pasta Bazooka. Well, it might be working pretty well, but I don't think it is. It's not really tight gun control. It's not very tight, actually. Lovely Dog, thanks for tuning in. What do I think about the YouTube shooting? I think it's an absolute tragedy. I'm sorry for all of those that were watching the stream the first hour while I was blubbering and crying all over the microphone right here and getting holy snot all over the place. I apologize. I think I've got all of my emotions out now. Well, I can't say that. That's never true. I'm an emotional person, and I could get emotional again, and I probably will once I find out, or I really start to dwell or think about the impact that it's had on the lives of those victims, which I don't want to think about right now because I'm already starting to get really bummed out. So let's not do that, okay? Not right now. I was doing a pretty good job of keeping things, trying to keep things a little more positive. Oh, Mark, you sent me a super chat. Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sorry. I just feel bad having super chat on right now because I don't want anybody to get the impression that I am what's the word? Like trying to make money on a tragedy or anything like that. I'm not. And for the record, if anybody's curious, that money goes to charity anyways. 100% of it goes to Aussie Rescue SoCal. So thank you. Mark, I'm sorry I missed the message that you sent to me. I didn't have it open. I apologize. But I did turn that off. I just I just didn't want to. I didn't feel right having like anything that makes it seem like I'm gaining from this or anything like that. So that's all off right now. Wow, where do we go from here? I mean, you guys know how I feel. I mean, you know how I feel about gun control. I'm happy to hear your guys' arguments for guns. If you can present to me a good argument, I'd love to hear it. You know, and if you haven't, I don't. Yeah, I just. I know a lot of you might be angry with me right now about how I feel, but I don't mean any disrespect to anybody that owns guns or anything like that. I think you have a valid reason to own a gun, and when we live in a country where so many people have them, I think it's a valid fear to have a gun and to want to protect yourself. No doubt, especially if you've got a family, especially if you have a family. Who doesn't want to protect their family, right? I would do anything to protect Judas. I know he'd pretty much do anything to protect me. But I also cannot deny like the numbers, okay? And in a perfect world, I mean, if it were me, if I were to able to just, snap my fingers and I could just make them all disappear and we could like start over, I would do that, right? I would just, they're gone and they're like, all right, now we have to figure it out from here, like they're gone, so now that problem's done. But we can't do that, obviously, and it's obviously not my decision to make. Judas, that's right. But we live in a world where we can vote. Luckily, most of us that are watching this stream right now, we live in a world where we can vote. And I would urge you that if you agree with me, if you agree with how I feel about guns, that you would write to your representatives in Congress and in the Senate and your president, and let them know how you feel. Because a movement has started, and I think it's great. I think it's a good thing that's happening. I think it's time. I think it was time a long time ago. I think but it seems like something's happening. It seems like now something is finally actually going to happen about this. And the wheel's starting to turn, and I like that. And so let's keep it going. And I urge you to write your representative and let them know how you feel. That's the only way things are going to change. They need to know that if they want to stay in power, they need to keep their constituents happy. That's you guys, right? It should be you guys. And how awesome will that be when that victory is won, when there is a change made and you can go, look, I'm on this side of history, or I'm here and I've seen this moment, and know that you've just kind of been through something that was a big deal. This is a big deal. This is something that will be written about in history books later. Somewhere decades from now, there's going to be a student sitting in a class reading a U.S. history textbook. Judas, do you want a drink? Is that what you want? Are you thirsty? You thirsty for a drink? I think he needs a drink. I'm gonna need to. You want some out of my cup? Can you get down there? Is it too low? It's too low. Which side of history do you want to be on, or which side? When you're old and you're talking to your grandkids about, like. I hope you want to be like, yeah, I voted to ratify, whatever it'll end up being, whatever it is. Too sweet to be sour on Twitter writes, or on tweet, on Twitch writes, I live in the country in Texas, and I have very many guns, all for different purposes. We have snakes, hogs, and 20 miles away from my house, a family had a home invasion, and both the mom and daughter were raped. Guns don't kill people, they are tools to protect the weak. My favorite saying is, God created man, Sam Colt made man equal. Well, too sweet to be sour. Look, you bring up a good point, right? We feel like we need to defend ourselves, right? Maybe it's not from some other people that have guns, and I understand that. I said before, I believe the UK and Australia did it right. Hold on, I'm gonna let Judas out. He wants to get a drink. Hold on, buddy. What? Go. Come on. There you go. Okay. I think Australia and the UK did it correct. You can still have a gun if you need one, right? That makes it makes total sense to have a gun when you have 20 acres, or when you've got a ranch, you've got rattlesnakes, you've got wildlife or things that you need to deal with, or maybe that's how you provide for your family. Maybe you hunt and you provide food for your family that way. That's fine, and I don't think their rights should be taken away. I don't think so. I'm not for a 100% just like make them all go away. I mean, I did say that if I could snap my fingers and do it, yeah, sure. But I said we would start from that point and then have to figure it out. But as a way to just equalize the playing field, I guess. But if there was a rapture on guns, I'd approve. But my point is, they're here. It's not like they're going to go anywhere tomorrow or anything. And it would obviously have to be a good reason to own a gun. I don't think a good reason to own a gun is just to feel safe. And I know that sounds crazy and ridiculous, and I'll explain, because I agree there is, like, that's the point of having a gun. It is for safety. It is to protect yourself initially. But I think the statistics say otherwise. And that's what I mean. I think that statistically, the odds are just not quite there. And they would be even more in favor, or I should say less likely, of you to have any gun, be the victim of gun violence or anything like that, or even an accident or suicide, is if there were no guns at all, right? If there are no guns, or if there's, it's just a lot harder to get to them. I just think it's just it's absurd that, and I've said it before, that somebody that's not old enough to buy cigarettes or alcohol can buy an assault rifle capable of rapid fire like that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Sumisu says, I would feel safe about not having guns if I felt the possibility of a tyrannical government was none. But it is all too possible. I would rather have a body of people with guns versus a tyrannical government than a body of people without guns versus the same tyrannical government. Sumisu, It's a good point. You make a valid point. That's the whole reason for the Second Amendment. But I don't know, I'm not sure exactly where you live, but the government that I live outguns the militia, any militia. Like, arm every single it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work, I don't think, in my opinion, because if it got to that point, if it got to the point where the citizens literally needed the guns to fight off the government, it would be over, right? And the government hasn't taken over the people because they have guns. They would have done that already. That would have already been a thing, okay? Because if there was an actual civil war or some sort of fight on U.S. soil, it would be decided by drones or something else. Tanks and drones and whatever, not by assault rifles. So, but I mean, I know what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Sumisu. I totally hear you. You live in New York. Okay, I get you. I just don't think I mean, you know, the United States government has a budget that's surpasses 5 times what like anybody else out there, you know. And so imagine any militia, the most well-armed militia in the United States, go into battle against the next best army or whatever. You know what I mean? And I'll say it right now. I think that the United States military, I think a budget is a little too high. God bless America. Praise be. Praise be, America. But I would like it if the military budget were decreased a little bit, and some of that were put into other places like education, especially education, and other things like NASA, STEM fields, research. You know, make America the technological powerhouse that it once was again, because it's not anymore. It's not. Yeah, the NASA budget needs to be a lot higher. So yeah, the United States government spends more on its military than the next 5 largest militaries put together. That's insane. So think about that. You know, the U.S. government could fight like multiple wars overseas with big countries and be okay. Still not have to issue a draft. And well, they are actually. What am I saying? They are fighting multiple wars right now in other countries. But my point being is, the United States would, I don't know, it's arms races are bad. This violence is bad. Why can't everybody just love each other? Ugh. I don't think that statistically you are representing the issue properly. Well, let's see. Maybe I can read that one down here because I missed it. Radix says, I like to come shoot with guns with my family. It'd be fun and educational, and you may change your mind. Hey, I'm sure it would be fun. I've shot guns before. I do agree. It's fun to shoot. And you know, and I don't want you guys to think I'm like some anti-gun nutcase or whatever. Like, just because I believe that gun control would be a good thing for the United States. But I can't. If you really boil it down, if you really boil it down, you know, and you just went by the numbers alone, it took the emotions away from it, including the emotions for having them and for not having them. You just put the numbers down. It makes sense, and it makes sense that other countries have decided to enact strict gun control, like the UK, Japan, Australia successfully. So the United States, its military is like 5 times more than the next 5, whatever, the next country, the next big country. Well, or the next 5, whatever, however that works out. But what about gun violence? I mean, it's like how many mass shootings do we have compared to all the other countries? I would venture to guess that we outnumber like those same next 5 big countries or whatever. I don't know. I don't know this. I don't know the numbers on that. I don't have the numbers. I'm not a journalist, guys. I'm not here to like do any of that. I'm just here to, I don't know, start a discussion with you guys, with my disciples about this situation. We're 32nd. 32nd what? Like, what's the breakdown? Like 32nd and what? Issues like these is like playing backgammon with a super smart AI. Yeah. AI is a whole another can of worms, guys. And I don't know if I'll even open up that can of worms on this stream, but why do weapons have to exist? Good question, Lobster. Good question. Why do they have to exist? It's one of those situations where fear is a scary thing. Fear motivates you to do things that, you know, to think that way, I guess. You know, if your enemy has has a weapon, well, you want to have a weapon to protect yourself. You know, and if you find out their weapon's a little bit bigger, oh, you want to have a bigger weapon than them, right? And it just, you go and they go, and it just gets out of control, you know? Well, then everybody should have a weapon. It should be like the Wild West, you know? Just let everybody, I don't know. That doesn't, why can't we all be dogs? I like that piano stick. I like that idea. Yeah, I know what they are. An AR-15 stands for. It's assault rifle. I mean, yeah, I definitely believe that there needs to be a ban, an immediate ban on assault rifles. I don't think that there's a reason for assault rifles. That ship has sailed. I think that argument for a well-armed militia argument is gone. Once that there is a government like ours that has a drone that can take you out from miles and miles away, you don't even see it. I mean, your AR isn't going to do anything for you in that situation. Nothing. And that's if it really went down, you know, like it really went down, like you're probably imagining in your head. Your AR is not going to save you. It's not going to do you any good. It wouldn't be good in a zombie outbreak. It wouldn't be good in, I mean, it's not going to do you. It's not. There's just not a good argument for it. The only good argument for it, I guess, is, well, to protect yourselves from other people that have assault rifles. But then that's the problem. Why does anybody have one? You know, why does anybody but the military have one? I guess is the better question. Kiara Patterson says, I've realized a lot of pro gun people have a victim complex. I need a better gun than, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, maybe. Cyrex says, assault rifles account for less than 1% of gun-related homicides. Yeah, well, 1% is still 1% too high, if you catch my drift. You know what I mean? Like, there shouldn't be any, really, right? There shouldn't be anybody dying by assault rifles. That may be the case for all homicides, but I imagine assault rifles, when it comes to mass shootings, which the United States has an epidemic of currently, that percentage is quite a bit higher. It's a lot higher than 1%. And that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a really big problem that's not being addressed quick enough, I think. Banning bump stocks, I think it's just it's band-aids for bullet wounds. Historical viewer, Jesus, you're an amazing human. Even if we don't see 100% on this issue, you're a great person. I don't know your real name, but I love you, dude. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, the historical viewer. I love you, my dude. My real name's Jehovah, but it's a lot harder to spell, and everybody gets really confused. Usually forgets the second H, and so it's just a lot easier to go by Jesus. Just call me J-Man. You could call me J-Man. Jesus, you're 9 times more likely to be stabbed than shot in the U.S. Sure, that might be the case, D-Man Hardy, that you may be more likely to be stabbed than shot. That could very well be the case, but that doesn't mean, or that's not an argument for not having guns. Especially assault rifles. It's not an argument for a kid who's not old enough to buy alcohol or cigarettes could go buy an assault rifle that's capable of killing 17 people in a matter of minutes. That doesn't make any sense. That needs to change. Absolutely, it needs to change. And I know that there's other kinds of violence too, but if you get stabbed, it would have, okay, I'm just saying, there aren't assault rifles. Your gun or your knife to gun percentage doesn't really work when it comes to, there aren't mass stabbings in schools. There isn't an epidemic of school stabbings, and it's a much higher percentage, right? So where are all the mass school stabbings happening, where 17 people are being killed in a matter of minutes, even though it's far more likely to happen, right? Indeed, you might be correct. I don't know if you're correct, but let's say you're correct. Let's say that that's a higher percentage of being stabbed. Let's say you're correct. Okay, fine. Where are all the mass stabbings in schools? There aren't any. Why is anybody going to bother with a knife when they can go to the local gun shop and buy an assault rifle before they're even old enough to buy alcohol or gamble? They're not allowed to go spend money at a casino because, whoa, that's a sin or something. But hey, buy an assault rifle meant to kill people at a very high rate. What the fuck? Doesn't make sense. Makes no sense. But give me more statistics. I'd love to hear your statistics for pro guns. And we'll see if we can talk about them more, because I still have yet to find a good one. Sumisu says that brings the issue of 18-year-olds joining the military. Interesting question, and you are correct. That is an interesting question. When should somebody be able to join the military? I don't know. I haven't given that one much thought, to be honest. What is it in the United States? I think it's 17 with parent permission. I think it's 17 with parent permission, or maybe it's different. I'm not really sure, actually, to be honest, what it is here in the States. Let's see. I'm trying to read comments too, guys. So if you've got a good logical argument or a reason why you believe there shouldn't be gun restrictions in the United States, I'd like to hear them. Or if you have statistics for pro guns, I would like to actually hear those statistics as well. Radix Monkey Studio says, in the decades following the Labor Party's election and banning handguns in 1997, the number of recorded violent attacks soared by 77% to 1.2 million in 2007, or more than 2 attacks every minute. 9. So that's Radix Monkey Studios. So you're talking about Australia. Hold on, I think your thing's kind of incomplete. Can you give me a little more information on that? Are you talking about, so he's saying attacks soared by 77% to 1.2 million. So there were like more attacks. What about murders or actual deaths though? Maybe there might've been more attacks, but how many of those were like fatal? An attack could be anything. I could punch you in the face or something like that. So be a little more specific there, Radix. Crickers that says, Jesus, in the UK, 56% of robberies are hot robberies. 13% of robberies in the US are hot robberies. I'm not really sure what that means. What's a hot robbery? Is that where they use a gun, like a armed robbery? You're correct, Common Neffel. Yes, people can use alternative means to do violence to other people. I agree. And for the record, I don't think a prohibition is like a fix for everything. No. In fact, I think prohibition is usually backfires. I do. Hot robberies when the victim is home. Oh, like in their house, like a home robbery. Wow. Oh, so it's higher in the UK because people are worried that they could get shot by going into somebody's house in the UK, but in the US it's lower because there might be a gun waiting for them on the inside, or somebody with a gun on the inside. I got you. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I could see that. That seems like a pretty sound statistic, or a pretty good argument, or a reason to feel like you need a gun. I would like to see, though, the statistics of those robberies, like when are there like murders and stuff like that, like, because that's just actually, that is a very interesting statistic, though, because that is a statistic showing the difference of perhaps having a gun in a society, or a gun wielding society. That makes sense. It's a good point. It's a good point you make. I don't know. I don't really have an answer to that. But I guess my answer would be is well, what are the statistics for actual gun violence? Actual gun violence, because that's what we're talking about. I know that there would be ramifications that would spread out throughout society if we were to enact a gun ban, like immediately or something like that, right? Sure, it would be nuts, and I don't think that would ever happen. Honestly, I just don't think it really would. But if, like, hypothetically, let's just say if it did, Um, I wonder if it really would. I mean, I think it probably would because, let's be real. There's no way to make them all go away. You can't just take them. People are going to keep them. People are going to keep them. People aren't going to. Even if, let's just hypothetically say that you were to say, all right, there's a law passed tomorrow and we're going to take all the guns away. Everybody has to give up their guns. Everybody, unless you're law enforcement or you have like a permit because you own a farm or something like that, right? Something akin to what the UK or like Australia has done, okay? Maybe it's a gradual thing, right? Definitely there's going to still be guns. People are going to hold on to the guns. Because they still want to be that person that has the gun. But the one thing that would be different is that a gun wouldn't be readily available to kids, which is a good thing. It's very hard for a kid to get anything on the black market. It's hard for an adult to get something off the black market, let alone a kid. But for a kid to be able to walk into a store and get a gun, it's just crazy to me. So how could you how could you do this? I don't know. It's a tough situation, guys. I know there's no easy answer to this, but something definitely needs to be done. I think you can all agree on that. If there's anybody here that can't agree that something needs to be done about this, then I don't know why you would feel that way. Um, Axixon, you're right. Yeah, like I said, I don't. I think. Yeah. There's no. If we were magically to pass a law tomorrow that takes the guns away, I know I'm not dumb enough to believe that gun violence would stop. I know it's going to happen. People are going to still have their gun. There's going to be a black market. But what I am saying is that I believe the United States will see the same results that other countries have seen, like Australia, the UK, and Japan, in that they don't have mass shootings. They don't have the insane number of suicides by guns, by death or suicide by guns, or children having access to a gun and killing themselves. Those numbers should be high enough for everybody to just look back and go, okay, all right, maybe I don't need this so bad. Because the chances of you actually using that gun that you've got are just lower than the chances of that same gun hurting somebody that you actually love, including yourself. Just saying, or killing, for that matter. And that's just kind of a crazy, if you think about that statistic. I mean, if I just took that statistic and took it on its side, apart from itself, forget about where you lie politically, forget about how you feel about them or how many you have of them or how many you don't have of them or whatever. Let's just say there's something else. There's now this new thing, this thing that's just kind of a thing that's part of society, I guess, that we're all used to. I'm looking around the room for something that would be in like 20% of households. I don't know. I have skateboards over there. Maybe 20% of households have skateboards. But suddenly there is a statistic that if you just by having a skateboard in your house or something, you actually, you have like a far more chance of getting hurt by it or killed by somebody else, even if it's you don't use it. But it just by being there, that would make me worried. It would really make me worried. I don't know. That's not a very good example, but you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. Yeah. Ryan Sparks. Jesus, I think the U.S. needs to rip the Band-Aid off and outright ban ARs. It may not stop the violence, but it will improve. I agree. I agree with you. I can't see a good reason for ARs. The militia argument doesn't hold water for me. It doesn't hold enough water to even walk on. You know, it just doesn't. No militia in the world, in the entire world. In fact, I guess I'd venture to say any army that were to just go toe to toe with the United States government, like let's duke it out, is gonna stand a chance. So what makes you think you and your friend's militia is gonna do it? Like, oh, we got this though. We subscribe to Gun and Ammo Magazine monthly or whatever. You know, like we know we got this or whatever. Come on, really? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't do it for me. I agree with you, Sumisu. We do. We definitely do. The elections, well, you guys know my opinions on how the elections work here in the United States. I don't think the elections are done very well here. I think that it's a broken election system because of the two-party system. It doesn't make sense. I think that's another thing that the United States should do is take a page out of the book of some of the other nations out there that have that vote just a little bit differently. Man, guys, it's crazy out there. And what she says, without guns, the government doesn't have to fight to take us over. America as it is won't go down without a fight. It's basically on the flag. Yeah. You're right, Washi. Like I said, they're not going to fight. Like I said, I don't think they'll go. I said myself, it's not going to happen. They're not going to take them away. There won't be a ban. I wish there would be. I wish there could be a successful one. One was done right. I think it needs to be considered. I think it at least needs to be on the table, but it won't, sadly, because well, maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe I never say never. I don't know. It can be done though. I think it can be done. It's possible. Maybe not actually. Dang, now I'm going back on. You know, I'm thinking about what you're saying, Washi. There would be a fight, definitely, and I can't disagree with you there. But I don't think that's a reason why we shouldn't do it or why we shouldn't try to fix the problem. I think the time for excuses is over, right? We could keep coming up with, well, we can't do it because, well, no one will just give them up. That's just an excuse, I think. Yeah, there are going to be people that aren't going to do it. But I think when it comes down to it, when it really comes down to it, and if Congress were to somehow manage to do it and pass a law, that people would do it. Sure, there are people that won't. Sure. Maybe it could be the start of World War III. I don't know. I don't think so, though. I really think that people will go, okay, fine. Fine. And there'll be a few people that are going to hold out, and there's going to be problems, and I'm sure there's going to be issues, but I have to believe that it would help. and that there wouldn't be an improvement. We wouldn't at least see this epidemic of mass shootings at least slow down, right? Thank you, La Rai M, for your donation to Aussie Rescue SoCal. Praise be. I'm sorry that you got threatened in school. I know how you feel. I've been threatened too. Just today, I was threatened physically. I've been receiving threats from a channel here on YouTube. A channel, I don't even want to say their name, but I have made a video about them. If you want to know the situation, you want to know a little bit more about it, it's called Jesus Receives Threats from YouTuber, I think is what it's called. Please do not go to that user's channel and leave them comments. Please do not meet hate with more hate, guys. Don't do that, please. Just turn the other cheek, like I said, and just don't worry about it. Hopefully YouTube, when they come back from this terrible tragedy, will hopefully be able to fix it. But anyways, yes, I've been getting some threats. I've been getting harassed by this person's followers because he made a video where he actually tells them, well, I would beat him up, but and then he later tells them, or he wouldn't last 7 seconds with me, but and then tells them a little bit later that they should go, his followers should go do what he would do. You know what that is, kind of a thing. And I'm using my Alex Jones voice because he's been dubbed the Alex 0.5.005 like beta, because he's not like Alex 2.0. He's like under. I think he would strive to be Alex Jones. Therefore, he's not quite. He's like the poor man's Alex Jones. But anyways, this guy's just really, really resentful, hateful, quote unquote Christian. He's not a real Christian because, as everybody knows, I've taught everyone from the get-go, thou shalt love thy neighbor and thy enemy. Not to go out and harass, bully, or anything like that. And he's had his channel already taken down by YouTube for this. And he started up, he had a second channel, and they only terminated the first one. But I know that YouTube says that if your channel's terminated, you're not supposed to just open up a new channel. He did. He's the same name, same name and everything. And now he's using this audience to harass me at home. I'm not safe anymore. Like, I was supposed to go out streaming today, but now I'm getting threats from people who think that they've got my personal information, but they don't. Unfortunately, they've got somebody else's personal information, and I'm kind of worried for that person. I should probably actually let them know, or at least let the police know or something. But it's gotten out of hand, and it's absolutely ridiculous is what it is. He cries hypocrisy, yet he's just the most hypocritical person I think there may be on the platform of YouTube. And for that reason, and well, he also hates on LGBT. It's very anti-LGBT, racist, anti-Semitic. And he's has these ideas. He's like selling fear, trying to get people to not trust the government, and these conspiracies and things like that. And NASA's fake, that all of its, over the years, all of its hundreds of thousands of employees are just like paid hush money or whatever to like pretend that they're working on fake projects or something like that, that they never sent somebody to the moon or anything like that. And that these like hundreds of thousands of people have all made it to their deathbed without like letting it out, letting the cat out of the bag, or letting this conspiracy that they're trying to hold from getting out, that nobody's blown the whistle on their deathbed or something, like how can any government keep hundreds of thousands of people quiet? It's not possible. The moon landing was real. Yeah, it's crazy. No, the moon landing was not faked. It's Taker Martin. I know that might be a fun conspiracy theory to believe in, that the moon landing was faked, but it's not. Seed to a tree. Reach out to Andy Manolikos on this. I wish. I don't know. Hey, if you guys know anybody, you want to reach out to anybody for me, go for it. You have a blessing to let any of the watchdogs out there know. I thought I could handle this on my own. I thought I was going to be able to handle this on my own. But I didn't expect it to get this out of control. And so, yeah, maybe if you want to tweet this out to anybody, Andy Milanakis, if you're listening, or H3H3 Productions, or Nerd City, or any of the other awesome watchdog sites out there that talk about YouTube drama like this, I could use your help. The J-Man could use your help. Praise be. Because, yeah, I've got people threatening to hurt me because they think they're being Christian. And I'm like locked up inside my house right now because somebody wants to hurt me. And it's not cool. It really sucks. Man. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to bum out, but I'm just bumming out on that. And I almost don't want to bother YouTube with this right now. They have bigger problems to deal with right now, and that's what makes this really shitty. Is YouTube is now hit with this, and I feel like a terrible person if I were to like whine an email to them and be like, "Hey, I'm getting threats and stuff. Can you help me, please?" I have actually, but I don't want to keep like nagging them about it or anything. But anyways. Hi, kid. Want to fly? Sorry if you guys are just coming in. Yeah, and you're wondering what's going on. You want to be brought up to speed. Check out my last video that's on my main channel, Jesus Christ. It's entitled "Jesus Gets Threats from a YouTuber." That'll fill you in. Since then, things have kind of escalated. Now it's gotten out of hand now. It's getting out of control, and yeah, I need some help. So because this is not cool. This shouldn't be done to anybody, and I know I'm not the only person that this channel is bullied. So please help anybody. I mean, don't go to this guy's channel and start crap with him. Don't do that. Please don't do that. But if you know somebody up at, like you got a connection to somebody high up in YouTube, or somebody at YouTube, or another big YouTuber that's a watchdog YouTuber, somebody like that, that'd be awesome if you guys can help me out. Yeah. Have you asked for PewDiePie's help? No, I haven't asked for anybody's help yet. I did go to YouTube Space LA, and I went and talked to, like, I guess they'd be my rep there. Like, I guess she would be technically, I don't know. They're kind of doing away with reps now, my person told me. But I went and talked to an actual person. For those who don't know, like once you have over 10,000 subscribers, you get put into like a program with YouTube if you want to, called like the YouTube Space LA or whatever, and you get a person, an actual coordinator, like a kind of a liaison that'll help you with anything with YouTube, and then when you get to 100,000. You get you go up a level, and then you get a little bit more contact with that person, and more kind of hands-on, like, I guess, more. And I had an awesome rep at YouTube, but he just left Google. He just went on to a different job, and I was emailing him, and my emails were bouncing back, and I was like, oh no. And then I found out that I emailed somebody else, or I got the help desk, and they're like, yeah, Matthew moved. And I was like, oh, darn it. So I went and talked to my new person, and they're like, well, we're actually kind of doing away with having like a handler for each of the YouTubers, and we're kind of doing like a help desk thing or something now. And so we're kind of like in this quasi limbo state. And so if you have a like handler or like a representative from YouTube before, you're lucky, you still have one. But if you're like me and yours just recently left, you're kind of in this limbo state. And I feel like, oh, I don't have a person. I do actually feel like I have a person to reach out to. I take that back. That's Carolyn. Thank you so much. She was super great, and now I feel good. But there's only so much I know she can do, especially now. But here's what bothers me. This guy's channel could be taken down, and the bullying could maybe stop, but that's not really what I'm worried about. What really bothers me is that there's that many of his followers that are willing to go and do the exact opposite of what I've always taught, which is love thy neighbor or love thy enemy, and actually issue threats of violence, right, towards anybody else really, let alone me. Thank you, horror girl. I love you. Praise be. But it's happening, and that's kind of weird. But you say to yourself too, like, how could anybody support child abuse, for example, right? But there was the channel Daddy 05 with a huge following that got very, very upset once that channel was taken down or was threatened or whatever, and the videos removed. There was a huge outcry from those followers, and I suspect something like that would happen too. So it's even got me more worried, because I'm like, oh boy, if it's this bad already, and I'm getting like these threats, and what if he does get his channel then they're going to be even more mad, and like, what's going to happen? Like, so I don't, I think the proper thing is to address the situation itself of what is proper and what is not proper to do in any community, but let alone our community, the YouTube community, right? And the line should always be, the clear answer should always be that everyone should feel safe, physically safe, and they should be free from being harassed. And I know that there are people that are going to argue that I somehow am involved in hate speech and that I'm out to hate or whatever. Bring your evidence. Go ahead and give me timestamps of any of my videos or anything where I've done that. That's not what I do. What they are is they're upset. They're upset. They feel that there's an injustice of blasphemy. Which, as everybody knows, is not a new thing to me. For thousands of years, the J-Man has been accused of blasphemy. Everybody knows about the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And now we just have modern day Pharisees and Sadducees. That's it. And they're coming over and they're actually physically threatening me. And that sucks. And I can't, to the point where I was literally afraid to leave my condo today because I had a scheduled IRL to go out, which now I'm kind of rethinking. I'm like, do I really want to do that now? And then this happens, and then I'm just like, I'm really freaked out. So, he's been accused of me and of hate speech, but he can't actually back that up with anything that I've said or anything. He's just angry. So I've got all these people in return now giving me hate, which, hello, but he's a bully. He recognizes himself as a bully. He says, I only bully the bullies. I've never been bullied. I bully the bullies. Oh my God, really? You see what you're doing there? You see how you're justifying your actions with, like, how you're rationalizing that? Like, it's beyond me. Hey, Emily Sweeney. No, I'm not very good today. I'm kind of having a rough day. Sorry if you're just joining in and you're wondering what the heck's going on. I recommend you go over to my YouTube channel, my main YouTube channel, which is Jesus Christ. Sorry, this one's my gaming channel, Jesus Plays. But my main channel is Jesus Christ. You just type that in the YouTube search bar and you'll find this face. Go there and go to the last video uploaded. Besides this one's the stream, but and that'll explain everything. I don't feel like bringing everybody up to speed again on the threats and what's happening and stuff like that. It's escalated and it's gotten a little more out of control, but that will at least bring you up to speed on what's happening. And this just happened to coincide with a active shooter situation that happened on YouTube today, right as I was beginning my stream. And so hence the stream title, guys. Sorry, I've got to talk about guns, but this is what I'm here to do. I'm talking about guns. And I'm going to receive even more hate for talking about guns, but it's not like I hate guns, like I actually physically hate the guns themselves, or that I hate the people that use the guns or anything like that. So that's not what it is. I just believe that there is a problem with guns in America, and it's not being handled properly. It's not being handled quick enough. It's not being handled swift enough, and it's really got me upset. And so I was here to just start a conversation with everybody, really for me to just vent, really to get my feelings out a little bit. But I did ask for you guys to give me some of your input, and you have. A few of you've really jumped in there and given me some arguments, and a few of you have actually given me very good arguments for like pro-gun arguments, which I have to admit I can't argue with. Like there are some arguments that I don't have a good argument for, like a counter argument for. And I understand the need for the desire to have a gun, and I understand the need to want to protect your family. Certainly, I understand now the need to want to protect myself from somebody else who's already threatened me with gun violence. I would probably feel a little safer if I had one myself, but I'm not going to go get one right now. Because I think that sense of security that I have would probably be outdone by my own personal paranoia of that gun getting into the wrong hands or something somehow, I don't think I could ever be. I don't think I would, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think there is one answer. There is one fix-all for this, but we need to stop making excuses, okay? And do something about it. That's all. That's what I'm saying. That's right, a fan of fiction. I'm ethnically Jew, but not religiously. I don't practice the Jewish faith, and I don't practice any faith other than love one another. And there is no us. There's a we. Okay, like there's not a us and them, and then if you get into that mentality, it's not a good place to be. This idea that there's an us and a them. We're all brothers and sisters, and we're all the same. We have more in common than we have different. And division isn't the answer. And everybody benefits from the whole world benefiting and everybody being lifted up together as a species. Everybody being equal. There's more benefit to humanity for there being equality across the board than there is having any type of division or anything like that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Sorry to be such a bummer on today's stream, guys. Normally I run a positive stream. I try to make sure that everybody leaves my stream more uplifted than when they came in. And I usually do this by having fun with my disciples and playing games and engaging in fun discussions and things like that, getting to know them. If you want more of that and less of this sad stuff, definitely head up to this channel right here, Jesus Plays, and subscribe there. And then you can check me out Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Pacific Standard Time. That's Los Angeles time, wherever you are in the world. And I stream and we have fun. And I want to offer a sanctuary, for my disciples to come. If they've had a rough day at work, if they've had, maybe a rough day at home, maybe wherever it is, school, work, home, family, friends, whatever it is that's got you bothered, coworkers. I want my disciples to be able to come and just unload on me and tell me what's going on and give me a chance to maybe cheer them up a little bit. And I've been pretty successful at it for the last several months. Been doing it. I took a week off last week for spring break. I'm back now. I'll be back again tomorrow. Not every stream is like this, so you guys can come check me out there. Trust me, I do a lot more normally to bring us together, I think. And I talk about the interests that we have in common rather than what divides us, like politically, like guns and things like that. So I know this is very unusual and very different from what you're normally used to, and I do apologize for that. Hopefully I haven't upset too many of you. I hope you guys understand that I just really wanted to have, to use this platform that I have for what it's there for, for me to voice my opinions and to let you guys know how I think, what I would like to see in you guys, and I don't expect any of you guys to just be all anti-gun or anything like that. Like, no, you need I love the diversity and opinions that we have among my disciples. That's great. And I hope that we keep that, because diversity is great. It's wonderful. I don't want an echo chamber in my chat of just everybody thinking the same thing and saying the same thing. That's a bad thing. I don't want that. I love that my followers are almost exactly 49% to 51% male and female, like right down the middle. I love that. I love that my demographic is exactly right in the middle. It's like everything is awesome, and it's spread out across the world, and I feel like I have a very, very diverse audience, and I love that, and I hope it remains that way. So don't feel like you ever have to adopt my opinion, okay? And for the record, let me just say this. We all do have our opinions, okay? And everybody should have your opinion. And it's good to voice your opinions. It is. It's fine. That's what freedom of speech protects. But there is a difference in voicing your opinion and harassment, intimidation, bullying, threatening. Those things are not protected under freedom of speech. Those things are also not protected under YouTube's guidelines. Even if take freedom of speech out of the picture, those are not unacceptable. That's where you draw the line. It's one thing on your own platform, your own channel, to voice your opinion and say, hey, this is how it should be, or this is how I think. That's fine. But it's another thing to tell your audience to go harass somebody else. That's a completely different thing. That's wrong. That's not protected under freedom of speech, and it's not protected under YouTube's guidelines. So I'm dealing with that, and that sucks. But back to my disciples, guys. I love you, and I'm really glad that you guys tune in, and that we can come together and talk and have these types of discussions, and we can share ideas. I hope that we could share more ideas in the future. I plan on doing more streams like this where we just talk instead of playing games. We'll try and get at least, maybe we can try and squeeze one in a week. I don't know. Thank you, guys. I love you too. Well, I love you the most. So there. But I'll try to do more of these where we just talk, because I'd like to hear you guys, and we'll work out the Discord thing. I know Masked, you're here, dude. I know you're like ready on standby to get people talking. I think I'm going to go ahead and forget the discussion of that for now. I would actually like to talk to somebody in Australia or the UK about guns and things like that to get an outsider's opinion, because I thought, it would be a great idea to give everybody an outsider's opinion. Or, I think we all, if you've lived in the United States your whole life, or you're like me and you've only, spent a few years here in the United States and thousands elsewhere, but no matter how much time you've spent here, but the more you've spent here, the more maybe desensitized you are to the culture of the gun culture that's here, that's just so different from the rest of the world. And I know I've traveled the world. I've been to several countries, dozens of countries around the world, and my wish is that everybody would have the same opportunity to do that, because I think the best way to learn about the world we live in is from going around and traveling it, getting out in that world. And that if you're just in the same place your whole life, then I don't know, it's kind of a little bit of a bubble. But it could be such an eye-opening experience for anybody to go out and just see what society is like in other places, how people live their lives. It's fascinating to see how exactly the same we are as people, but how vastly much how much the societies vary and how different they can be from each other. But down to the core, we're just people, We all put our tunics on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. Yeah, Count Dankula. Somebody just brought that up. Stofan says, LOL people in Yoake. Shaking my head, dude got arrested for teaching his girlfriend's dog to Sig Heil. Yes, I'll go ahead and say that I believe that Count Dankula should not have been arrested, or should not have. I think he's not guilty. I think what he did is obviously a joke. It may not be a good joke. But that's not what the argument is. The argument is it hate speech? And I just don't think so. It's a dog. The dog doesn't know what it's doing, so it's not actively engaging in hate speech. And then it's very clear that the Count Dankula was making a bad joke, and that's it. Who hasn't made a bad joke? Who hasn't, you know, whatever? But to be jailed for it, I think, is absurd and crazy. And I'm sorry, Count Dankula. I've got your back, dude. I love you. Sorry. Man, that sucks. It's crazy. All right. No, we do not crusade, Colton Bowell. We don't. Violence is never the answer. It's never the answer, guys. Ever, 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 ever is it the answer. Man. I know it's been a heavy day, guys. Again, sorry for the, sorry to be like a quote unquote bummer. I didn't really mean to, but I think it's very important that you guys know where I stand on, at least on this issue, and how I feel. Oh, I remember what I wanted to say. Opinions. We're all entitled to our opinions, right? Of course. But there's a difference between opinions and threats, right? We all know that. We should all know that. But the other thing too is I think it's very, very important for all of you guys to know, and I would hope and pray that all of my disciples, if they take anything at all from what I've said today, take this. It's very important for you to separate your opinions from yourself, from your own personal identity, and understand that they are just your opinions, right? And always try to strive to be a person that keeps their opinions separated from their ego, separated from who they identify as a person, right? Because opinions should and can change, right? But if we make like if we're all about, let's say I identify as a conservative Republican or something like that, and my identity is all kind of wrapped up in that, it's going to be a lot harder for my opinions to change, or for anybody to actually change my opinions, for that matter, because you're locking yourself right now into a sort of box, and now you're struggling with, well, if you do start to disagree or you have any disagreements or whatever, well, then am I still, and then it's not, don't do it. Pretend that your opinions are just something that you have and you carry around with you in like a backpack, and you can pull them out and you can use them. You could discuss them. They could be topics of discussion among your friends, but by keeping them separated from yourself, it's a lot easier for you to have your opinions changed rather than having to change your entire identity. Okay. A lot of people get wrapped up. Their opinions get wrapped up into their identity. They're so tightly wound that if you criticize somebody's ideas, their opinions, something that's just not a tangible thing, but something that's just in their head, that thing is a thing that can be changed. And it has changed for a lot of people. It doesn't make up who you are, right? You're still you. But getting hung up on, labels of like, oh, I'm this, or I'm this, or I'm this, probably isn't the best idea or best solution, I think. It's just my opinion. I think that one can live a happier life keeping their opinions separated from their ego and from their persona, their identity. Mm-hmm. How do we do this? Asks Nigel Burke. It's not easy. It's not easy because just about everybody is going to call themselves something. They're going to label themselves as something, right? I'm going to label myself as maybe I'm going to say I'm conservative, or maybe I'm liberal, or maybe I am a Catholic, right? Or maybe I'm a Muslim, or maybe I'm a Jew, or maybe I'm like, whatever it is that you make your identity and you dig yourself into. When you do that, when your opinions become your identity, you're on a road. You're on that road headed to where that is. Let's say that's Catholicism or Islam, or whatever it is. You're on that path. You're going that direction. And for you on that road, it might be fine to, the thing might be to it may not be good. It might be bad. That road is going to lead you somewhere, though, but it's going to take you somewhere, to an ideal or to a way of thinking. And sometimes that way of thinking can be that that there's an us and a them, that there's an inequality among people, or that men and women aren't equal, or something like that, and that's dangerous. Yeah, I don't really like labels. Everyone asks me all the time. I don't really like labels, guys. I like you, the Luch, yeah, Gummy. Couldn't read your name quick enough. Thanks, Linda. Thanks for being up so late with me. Well, guys, I've probably bent your ears long enough. But we'll do this again, guys. We'll pick this up again another time. This is a good discussion. You guys have actually given me some things to think about, some things that I haven't actually thought about, so that's good. And I definitely want to look at some of those statistics, particularly the one about home invasions and those percentages and things. I kind of want to look into that a little bit, because I do find that fascinating. It's hard for us mortals, speaking for you guys, to wrap your mortal minds around everything and see things from every angle. It's very difficult. You tend to see things from perspective, and your perspective is, well, it's made up of experiences that have happened to you, and so a lot of times it's hard for us to really wrap our head around things until it's happened to us or happened to somebody we know or something. Empathy, I think, is the greatest tool that anyone can yield. Far better than any weapon. That's for sure. Understanding your fellow man, I think, is a really important thing to do. And that's why I say it's one of the things you should do every day. And I tell all my disciples, if you're new, you don't know my creed and how I do things and how I explain things, I think there's 3 things that everybody should do. 3 things that every person should do each day to help them be happy. It works for me, and I think it will work for you. And these 3 things are: 1, learn something new about the world that you live in, about a society, maybe, or cultures that you're not familiar with. Doing that will help you. It'll help you be more empathetic. The other thing you should do is do something to ease the suffering of another life. And that could be simple. That could be as simple as just helping the old lady in front of you at the checkout stand out with her groceries or something like that. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not hard, but you've helped somebody, It could be donating to a charity. It could be, giving to, an animal rescue like I do, or um, it could be whatever. But do something, anything, and it doesn't have to be money to ease the suffering of somebody. And lastly, the third thing is learn something new about yourself or do something specifically to improve yourself. And what I usually mean by that is exercise, do some Jehovah's Fitness, get out there, run, jump, or swim, like breathe some fresh air and work your body, and treat your body good, put good things into it. Drink a lot of water, eat more fruits and vegetables. Feel what it's like to get that body moving, those muscles moving the right way. This machine that your conscious is inside working properly and running on all cylinders firing away. Do that. I promise you, you do those 3 things each day, you're going to be happier. It's the gospel truth. Amen. I love you guys. Well, good. I want you to think hard. That's what this stream is all about. I want you guys to think. I just don't want you guys to be emotional, or anything like that. I want you to think. Use your brains, think about the things, think about the world around you, and well, I love you guys. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream right now on this note. Go out there and make the world a better place, guys. Okay? Do that. Please, do it for me. Thanks. I love you. And remember, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Until next time, stay blessed.